Alright, we got the piston in the bottom of the case. We just greased the seals up and pushed it on there. You can kind of help it with a feeler gauge apparently. And we kind of moved it and spun it just a little bit to make sure none of the O-ring seals were pinched. So that's kind of the first step. We got the shift lever switched out here on the transmission also. So after you get the piston in, you put all the springs in there. You got this plate that goes on top of the springs. Use a special spring compressor like this. And you got a little snap ring that goes inside there that holds all that down. Alright, we got that ring put on with the snap ring with the spring compressor. Now we're putting the frictions and steels in, and we're putting the little notch at the 7 o'clock position there on all the steel and the top pressure plate. This one had 6 friction clutches in it. So now all those are in, the pressure plate's on, we got the snap ring in. This guy right here is going in. The ring gear for the planetary. And then we're going to drop the planetary output shaft and stuff in. Alright, so we got the output shaft, which is part of the planetary in, sitting in there. We just got the input shaft sticking there because there's a brass bushing that was trying to fall out. So now we're going to put this high gear drum, and was that sun shell? Is that what that's called in there?
Sun gear.
Get that in there. So we got the what I believe is the high gear drum set down in there. There's like a brass washer, and then I think it's called a Torrington bearing that's in there. You kind of got to make sure it's centered. I got the input shaft in there to hold that brass washer in place. Now we put the Kevlar band around it. I got this little foot piece right here in, which this rod is what holds it in place and what sets the tension on it. So I got it full loose right now. We're about to plop the servo in here to hold this band in place. Alright, so we got this little foot piece on the other side in there. Got the servo bolted in. This has an aftermarket servo with double sealing rings in here. And now we're going to set the front pump in and check in play on the transmission. Alright, we got the front pump in there. We left the O-ring off so we can get it back in and out. We're checking in play. So we have the dial caliber on the magnetic base. And we got this stuck on the input shaft to see how much in play it has right now, to see if we need to change anything on the in play. Alright, so we got the in play checked. It was 33 thousandths, which is in spec. Put the O-ring back on the front pump, put the pump in, bolted it up tight, bolted the valve body back on, and got all that tightened up. Put the trans brake solenoid back on. Now we're going to set the band, and then I have to go buy a filter and some transmission fluid. And I had a really junky Chinese dipstick, braided stainless dipstick, so I'm going to buy like a low car or some kind of dipstick for it, and it'll be ready to go back together. We may try to flush out the torque converter a little bit, but there really wasn't much in the fluid. I think it just snapped the case and that was it. So anyway, that's all I can think to tell you guys. So the band adjustment we did was tighten this thing down just like kind of snug, and then we backed it off 3 turns. It says 3 to 4 turns, what we've read. So hopefully everything's ready and get this thing back in the car.